Welcome back, people, to the Trim Healthy Podcast, where we're bringing greater health to every gnome. In today's episode, is your nervous system, stop laughing, stalling your progress? Lately, the health world and the conversation online, I mean, that's the world anymore, is what's going on online. Who's meeting in person anymore except us? They've been talking.
Who's us? Do you want to introduce Amy?
Oh, hey, with us today.
It's like she's serene, but she's not.
I forget. I know in my brain, it's just female number two.
Yeah.
It's always females.
I love that. That makes room for one. It just says it without saying it. Thank you.
Queen P right there.
All right, so the conversation has gone from, just the phrase managing stress to a phrase I actually like better, regulating the nervous system, because that speaks a little more to the root of this. And you've probably seen the terms vagus nerve, or have you guys heard of somatic stuff? Okay, you correct me if I'm wrong, but what comes to mind for me for somatic is like middle-aged single dudes with long hair, like hovering their palm over like a woman's belly as she like cries.
Oh, I don't.
Very weird.
Yeah, I don't know about that, Danny. I'm big into the vagus nerve. I don't know about somatic, so maybe you'll be able to share it with us.
That's not where I was thinking.
I mean, I think there's a better version of somatic, but I keep seeing that, probably because it's on the more fringe, extreme edge of what somatic is, but I don't even understand what it is.
Well, Amy's going to tell us.
You're like, good
guess.
news, I don't either.
Hey, good news, I know some of these things. Not all of them.
Breathing. A lot of breathing and calming yourself down.
Okay.
Oh, that's the word for it, yeah.
So
No,
it's more
I know
on-
all about that.
All right, so we got somatic movement, cortisol lowering breath work, which I'm a little more familiar with that. But why is everybody talking about this now? Is it just a buzzword, or is this like critical to life? How does it apply to losing weight? Today we're looking at the science of why your body gets stuck in fight or flight and how to actually switch it off. This is the Trim Healthy Podcast.
Oh, he's going to go again? Actually? Thanks, Dan. That burned a lot of calories. A lot.
Maybe that should be what people do to manage stress.
Yeah.
Work out.
I feel breath worked.
Yeah.
So you're more familiar with the breathwork side, it sounds like, not the somatic
No, I
side.
don't know, man. I mean, I just think let's give that to Amy. And since she is, head coach and head of a lot of things now in Trim Healthy, I'm going to pass it to her. And then I have a lot to say about this because I am sitting here right now needing to remind myself of all this big time. But Amy, you go.
Well, if you think about women when they come to Trim Healthy, they're wanting to be better. And they can't because they're so overwhelmed with their life. And I see this a lot with my clients because they are wanting to do all the things. They want to manage their family. They want to take care of themselves. They want to take care of their husband. They want to get the right food. And then they're like, all the things, right? And so if they can learn this whole reset of the vagus nerve and breathing and managing their stress and lowering their cortisol, it all works together. So they really have to simplify, a lot of things that they're working on, but it's retraining your body. So instead, like the fight or flight you were already saying. So either they're going to just stop, which a lot of people do, the self-sabotage, and they just quit all the things, or they reset. And that's fighting for what you want. And the cortisol lowering is super important. I mean, we talk about that a lot, and you guys did too in Trim Healthy Wisdom, because cortisol belly is big deal.
It's real.
Here's my understanding of breath work. This is the extent of my knowledge. Inhale like for 6 seconds.
Yeah.
Exhale.
Breathing.
Yeah, exhale for 4 seconds. Other than like go to the class to do that, are people out there like? Do you guys? Do
I
this?
teach clients to do that.
You,
yes.
Okay, so
I do.
you're hip to this.
Yes.
And
I
what's
do.
your version?
My version is you need to be in a place by yourself. So if it's like a stressful situation, like a family reunion or Christmas and crazy, go to the bathroom.
Okay.
It's okay. Maybe one little toddler follows them in there, whatever. And you're by yourself and you box breathe. It's in, out. And
What does that
I
mean,
teach
though? What do you
them.
mean by in?
You're breathing
out?
in. So
Okay.
you count 4 in and then out.
4, and then
that.
4 out. Like 1, 2.
Real slow.
So that's keep it
with
simple.
me,
4 and
I don't know. Like this is really personal to me because I was not aware of my own fight or flight situation until several years ago, and it kind of came to a big head. I've shared this story before when I all of a sudden had Meniere's disease.
Yes.
And that's
Very scary.
severe vertigo. It kind of like you can't even live your life. You can't drive. You can't do anything. You're throwing up. It's really horrible. I came out of that. I actually am completely healed through that. But I did it through learning about regulating my own nervous system. And I was a beginner.
With
a
breath
baby.
work?
Breath work was a huge part of it.
Really?
A huge part of it. But it's mentally relaxing yourself
Yes.
so that those intense pathways can actually be moved to the side, and that your relaxing pathways in your body, the parts that are still, that are calm, can actually come to the surface. I didn't know it was called regulating your nervous system. I just had to do it or I couldn't live my life. So I did. But breathing for me, it wasn't this. I couldn't do it. I tried the counting, and I know it works for so many people. I couldn't. I just had to do what my body told me, and that was just breathing in slow. The slow is so important because so many of us are like shallow, quick breathing. Whenever we're stressed or in fight or flight, we're shallow.
Okay, so that's because
And the
without
adrenaline
us,
also.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so without us knowing it, we're kind of panic breathing.
So
Exactly.
many of us, it's not like intense fight or flight, but so many of us are going through our day in mild, chronic fight or flight. And we're like, the stress, and we hold our shoulders tighter, and we shallow breathe. And so for me, I would breathe in so slowly. I didn't even have to go to another room. I would just do it wherever I was, and then out however it felt good. So sometimes it was a whoosh, sometimes it was just like a sigh, get it all out.
Yep.
It was life-changing for me because now I still get into it, but I have to remind myself. I just have to go back. Like this week is so intense with 3 books that are on a deadline, and I don't have 1 minute, and I'm up at 5 a.m. and I can feel the stress like pushing at me, like poor me too. I get in victim mode. I don't know about you, but I'm the biggest victim in the world when I'm in fight or flight. Like everything's happening to me. Why do I have to live like this? And then it's just like, Pearl, just regulate your nervous system, like slow breathing in and out. And here's a big thing I found: my feet in the water. Not literally, but this is huge for me. Like, David was a big nervous system regulator in the Psalms. He's like, he leads me beside the still waters. I lie down in the grass. He prepares me a table. He was regulating his nervous system with his mind. And so now, like this morning at 5 a.m. when I got up and I had to do all this stuff, I was like, you can do it with your feet in the
You
water,
just got
Pearl.
me. You just kind of made me jump.
Feet in
Startled
the
you, yeah.
water. So like if we're in errands or we're in work or whatever we're doing, and this intensity, I'm just like, I can do this with my feet in the water.
Do you guys remember, or maybe it's current, I remember in churches, people would come to the altar during the music time and like shake and roll on the ground. And not every church, but like in the Pentecostal movement,
Yeah.
they would sort of shake. Do you know what I'm talking about?
I mean, I grew up in some really demonstrative churches, but what's kind of where you're going with that?
Well, when we talk about this,
Nate's laughing his head off.
yeah, because he does it every morning. Guarantee Nate wakes up and somatically shakes.
You think that was part of somatic?
Nate gets up at 6 a.m. and goes, God help me. I can tell. He's laughing because I nailed it. That's why he's blown away. How did Danny nail it? Well, what I'm saying is this somatic shaking, the
movement.
like there's no limit in these. I've just seen like clips of this, like on YouTube Shorts, of people in typically brown to neutral tone yoga wear.
Yeah.
And usually a male is leading a flock of women, and they're all just like, whoa. And I'm not making fun of it. I'm just saying they're flailing. You know what I'm saying? Like their body is moving, and often they're crying or heaving but it reminded me of in the Pentecostal churches
Yeah.
that I've visited in the past, people would really go wild down there at the altar. What I'm saying is, I'm not making fun of it. I'm sort of
It's
like,
similar to
maybe
you.
it's valid. Maybe there is a release that some people need to like shake out of, you know?
Well, I mean, I think you got a point there because so many of us like grew up in that church and no longer like sometimes we go to more reserved things, especially me, and I'm like, okay, I'm not all into the shaking and quaking, but it is historic, and there's nothing that I should look down on it for because the Quakers, you know, they're
Is that
early
why they're called
early
Quakers?
Christianity. That's what they did. They quaked and shaked.
They quaked
It
and
was why they were
shaked.
called the Quakers. It was a
I
real
didn't
thing.
know that.
But think
I
about
thought
it.
it was an oatmeal
Think
thing.
about it. Dancing. What is
That was after.
No, yeah. What does dancing do?
Carry the one.
Dancing is a way of moving our body.
Yeah,
but
dancing.
it full on regulates the nervous system.
Yeah.
It gets the vagus nerve going. I know we're going to talk about that soon.
Have you ever danced at the club till 3 a.m.? I know I have. You have? Did you take your husband? He's here. Where'd
Not
he
till
go?
3.
Oh, but
I have.
likes
he
to
heads
go
out
home
and
and
you
He
stay
knew where I
back?
was.
The strike of midnight.
You stay back at the club?
Wes has to be home at the strike of midnight, right?
No, not
Hey,
all the
we
time.
went on a cruise. Remember the cruise we
Yeah,
all
we
went
did.
on?
I wasn't up dancing with you, Danny.
No, all the kids went to bed.
with Pearl. Yeah,
and
Pearl did.
Pearl.
I snuck off to the club till 3 a.m. on a cruise ship. And dude, it was a
great.
relief. It
It's
was
great. I agree.
epic.
I agree.
No alcohol needed. You just bring yourself.
Yeah.
And then, but you gotta get in there. You gotta get in there. And once you go, everybody feels the liberty. I find it my job at the club to get the party started. Don't look at me. I'm gonna stay right here. We
Dan
got
is
time.
like, Dan, our marketing guy. No, he's not marketing. What do you have? in
Yes, he
front of?
is. He's director of marketing. You're right.
Director of, he calls it something else though. Communications. He doesn't like the word marketing. It's a bad word. Director of
will-
communications. I know what he's thinking. He's thinking most of the
getting
women
Dan's job.
listening